The world of animal mating rituals is filled with unique and sometimes downright bizarre behaviors that have been developed over millions of years of evolution. In this video, we will explore the weird and wonderful worlds of 30 different animals, each with its unique adaptations. Fireflies mating. Fireflies have a complex mating ritual that begins with the emergence of female fireflies in their adult form. These females only have a few weeks to live, and their main goal is to find a suitable mate. As the sun sets, thousands of male fireflies light up the dusk, hoping to impress the female audience with their flashing lights. However, females are not easily impressed and are looking for something special. They prefer males that can sustain a long flash, as this indicates they have a larger nuptial gift, which is food for their developing eggs. When a female spots a male with potential, she opens the conversation by emitting a flash of her own. The male will only approach if the female responds with a specific light pattern, and if she does, they will mate. After mating and laying their eggs, all the adults die, so this spectacular light show only lasts for a few short weeks each summer. Penguin mating. Emperor penguins have a unique and fascinating mating ritual. Every year during the Antarctic winter, these penguins gather in large groups to mate and lay their eggs. The mating ritual of emperor penguins begins with the male penguins calling out to attract the attention of the females. Once a male has successfully attracted a female, the pair will perform a series of courtship displays. These displays help to establish the bonds between the male and female and ensure that they are a good match. After the courtship displays, the female emperor penguin will lay a single egg and transfer it to the male, who will keep it warm by holding it on his feet and covering it with his brood pouch. While the male is incubating the egg, the female will leave to find food and return several weeks later to relieve the male and take over the incubation duties. BlueFooted Boobies. The blue-footed booby is a species of bird that is known for its unique courtship ritual. Male blue-footed boobies perform their famous courtship ritual. The male's bright blue feet are a key component of this ritual, and they help attract a mate. The brighter the blue feet of the male, the more attractive he is to females. This is because the brightness of the blue indicates the health and quality of the male. During the mating ritual, the male will also present the female with a gift, usually a stick or some other small item. The female will then decide whether to accept the gift or not. If impressed, the female will respond by lifting up her own feet and showing them off to the male. This back and forth display continues until the female chooses a male to mate with. If the male is successful in impressing the female, they will mate and produce offspring. Snowy owls mating. Snowy owls are monogamous and mate for life. The mating season for them typically occurs in the late winter months. During this time, the male snowy owl will perform a mating dance for the female. He will puff up his feathers and make a series of hoots and calls to attract the female's attention. If the female is receptive, she will allow the male to mate with her. After mating, the female snowy owl will lay a clutch of 3 to 11 eggs. The eggs will be incubated by both parents for around 32 days until they hatch. The male snowy owl is responsible for bringing food to the nest during this time, while the female incubates the eggs. Once the eggs have hatched, both parents will continue to care for the young owlets. The owlets will remain in the nest for several weeks until they are able to fly and hunt for themselves. Peacock mating. Peacocks perform a complex dance during mating season to attract a mate. The male will approach the female with his feathers spread wide and tail feathers held high. He will then begin to strut and display his feathers, often circling around the female to show off his full plumage. If the female is impressed, she may respond by fanning her own feathers and moving closer to the male. Once the female has chosen her mate, the two will mate and the male will fertilize the eggs that the female lays. The male does not provide any parental care for the offspring. Instead, the female is solely responsible for incubating the eggs and caring for the chicks once they hatch. Peacocks are known for their longevity, with some individuals living up to 20 years in the wild. This long lifespan allows them to mate multiple times throughout their lives. Golden Eagle Mating. The golden eagle is a majestic bird of prey known for its impressive aerial displays during the mating season. Males will perform a sky dance, soaring high into the sky and then dropping down in a series of swoops and dives. This dance is not only a display of strength and agility, but also a way to attract a mate. Once a female is interested, the male will bring her gifts of food and twigs to build a nest. They may also engage in sky dancing, where the pair will lock talons and free fall together before releasing and flying off in opposite directions. This behavior is thought to strengthen their bond and reinforce their pair bonding. Once the pair has formed a bond, they will begin building a nest together, typically on a high cliff ledge or in a tall tree. Once the eggs hatch, the male will continue to provide food for the female and their offspring. Albatross Mating. The albatross mating ritual involves a beautiful dance performed by both the male and female. The dance is an important part of the courtship process as it helps to establish a bond between the pair and allows them to assess each other's fitness and capability. Once a pair has formed, they will mate for life, returning to the same breeding site each year. Albatrosses are known for their long lifespans, with some individuals living up to 60 years or more. This means they have plenty of time to perfect their dance moves and find the perfect mate. During the breeding season, both males and females will incubate the egg and take turns to forage for food. The bond between a pair of albatrosses is strong, and they will often greet each other with the same dance that they performed during their courtship, reaffirming their commitment to each other. Bears Mating. Brown bear mating is a complex process that occurs in the late spring or early summer, when the bears emerge from their winter hibernation and begin to establish dominance hierarchies and mating territories. One of the most striking aspects of brown bear mating is the competition among males for access to the females. Dominant males will often fight with each other for the right to mate with females in their territory, and the winner will typically have exclusive mating access to those females. Mating can last for several minutes or even hours, and can involve multiple copulations over the course of several days. After mating, the female will typically become pregnant and give birth to her cubs in the winter den. Brown bears have a relatively low reproductive rate, with females typically only producing 1 or 2 cubs per litter every other year. Lynx Mating. Lynx are known for their unique mating behaviors, which often involve loud vocalizations. During the mating season, which typically occurs between February and March, male lynx will roam their territories and call out to females with a series of screams and yowls. The females will respond with their own vocalizations, and the males will track them down using their keen sense of smell. Once a male has found a female, he will pursue her relentlessly, often chasing her through the forest for hours at a time. They will mate multiple times over a period of several days. Lynx do not form long-term pair bonds, and after mating, the male will typically leave the female to raise the offspring alone. Interestingly, lynx have a unique mating call. This call can be heard from a distance and is used to attract a mate or to signal the presence of a territorial boundary. Polar bears mating. Polar bear mating is a complex process that involves tracking, sizing up, and testing potential partners. In the vast empty landscape of the Arctic, finding a mate can be a challenge, but polar bears have an excellent sense of smell that can detect another bear from over the horizon. Males can spend weeks tracking the scent of a female who is ready to mate. Once a male and female find each other, they engage in a courtship ritual that includes playing and testing each other's fitness. The female will test the male's ability to keep up with her and his fitness level, as she will be relying on him to provide strong and healthy genes for her offspring. If the male passes the female's tests, they will mate and produce offspring. The female will raise her cubs alone, devoting herself to them for 2 to 3 years. Raccoons Mating. Raccoons are nocturnal and solitary animals, but they do come together to mate. Matings usually occur in late winter or early spring, with a gestation period lasting about 2 months. Male raccoons, called boars, will actively seek out females, called sows, during this time. Boars will use their sense of smell to locate sows, often traveling long distances in search of a mate. Once a boar has located a sow, he will engage in a variety of courtship behaviors to attract her. If the sow is receptive, she will respond to the boar's advances by vocalizing and assuming a receptive posture. Female raccoons will mate with multiple males during the mating season, resulting in litters with multiple fathers. Males, too, mate with multiple females. They play no role in raising the young and will leave the female shortly after mating. Otter mating. Otters are social animals that can mate throughout the year, but breeding typically peaks during the winter months. Male otters will actively pursue a female that is ready to mate, often engaging in playful behavior like chasing and wrestling. The male will then try to mount the female from behind, grasping her neck or head with his teeth to hold her in place during copulation. Otter mating behavior can also involve scent marking, vocalizations, and territorial displays. In some cases, multiple males may compete for access to a female, leading to aggressive behavior like biting and chasing. They have a high reproductive rate, with females capable of producing up to 2 litters per year. However, the survival rate of otter offspring is relatively low, with many young dying before reaching maturity. Otters are highly social animals, and both females and males will engage in group activities such as grooming and playing outside of the breeding season. Hammerhead Sharks Mating. Hammerhead sharks are known for their unique mating behavior. Like many other species of sharks, they reproduce using internal fertilization. Hammerhead sharks have a complex courtship ritual that involves both the male and female swimming in circles around each other, while the male tries to bite the female's pectoral fins to assert dominance. If the male is successful in his courtship display, he will then position himself beside the female and use his claspers to transfer sperm. Female hammerhead sharks have a reproductive cycle that lasts between 1 and 2 years, and they are capable of storing sperm from multiple males for extended periods of time. This allows them to mate with multiple partners and potentially increase their chances of producing offspring with strong genetic diversity. When the baby hammerhead sharks, also known as pups, are ready to be born, the female will give birth to them in shallow, protected areas, such as swamps. Sandwich terns mating. Sandwich terns are seabirds that engage in a unique mating ritual involving a courtship dance. During this dance, the male will approach the female while holding a fish in his beak. He will then offer the fish to her as a symbol of his ability to provide for her and any potential offspring. If the female accepts the fish, it signals her interest in the male, and the two will proceed to mate. However, if she rejects the fish, the male will have to try again and look for another potential mate. The courtship dance is a crucial part of the mating process for sandwich terns, as it helps establish a strong bond between the male and female and ensures successful reproduction. In addition to the courtship dance, they engage in other mating behaviors, such as displaying their distinctive black crests and bills to attract potential mates. Bison Mating. During the mating season, male bison engage in fierce battles with each other to win the attention of females. They use their powerful and massive heads to lock horns and push each other around, sometimes for hours on end. These battles are often intense and can result in serious injuries or even death. Once a male bison has established dominance over other males, he can begin to court females. But it's on the female. She will only choose the male she finds most impressive. When a male bison identifies a receptive female, the mating itself is brief, lasting only a few seconds, but can occur multiple times over the course of the mating season. Females will give birth to a single calf 9 months after mating. The calf will stay with its mother for up to 2 years before striking out on its own. Snow bunting mating. Snow buntings are small, sparrow-like birds that breed in the Arctic tundra. Their breeding season is short, and they have a very distinctive courtship display that is used to attract a mate. During the display, the male snow bunting will puff out his chest and sing a series of trills and whistles while flapping his wings. If the female is interested, she will respond by fluffing out her feathers and calling back to the male. Once the pair has bonded, they will build a nest together on the ground, usually among rocks or in a shallow depression. During the winter months, both male and female snow buntings have white feathers that help them blend in with the snow and ice. However, as spring approaches and the breeding season begins, the males start to molt their feathers and develop a breeding plumage. Sea lions mating. In this clip, a sea lion can be seen forcing itself upon a penguin, which stunned many. Now, penguins may not be the primary source of their food, but they have been known to eat penguins. This particular behavior is unexplainable. Sea lions are known for their unique and interesting mating behaviors. During mating season, males establish territories on beaches where they can attract females. Males use a variety of tactics to attract females, including barking, growling, and even fighting with other males. The actual act of mating occurs in the water, where the male will mount the female and copulate sometimes on land, too. After mating, the female will give birth to a single pup about a year later. Interestingly, male sea lions have been known to display homosexual behaviors during mating season, including mounting and attempting to mate with other males. Maybe that explains this clip. Sea turtle mating. Sea turtles mate in the water rather than on land, and it's a noisy affair. The male sea turtle uses his sharp claws to hold onto the female's shell while he attempts to align his tail with hers. Once he has found the right position, he will begin to copulate with her. After mating, the female sea turtle will crawl up onto the beach and dig a nest in the sand where she will lay her eggs. Depending on the species, a female sea turtle can lay between 50 and 200 eggs in a single nest. The sex of the sea turtle hatchlings is determined by the temperature of the sand in which the eggs are laid. Warmer sand produces more females, while cooler sand produces more males. This makes sea turtle populations vulnerable to climate change, as rising temperatures could skew the gender ratios and lead to a decline in the population. Galapagos Tortoise Mating. Galapagos tortoise mating is a fascinating and unique process. These giant tortoises are the largest in the world, and their mating behavior is no less impressive. During the mating season, male tortoises become highly territorial and will fight with other males for access to females. Once a male has established his dominance, he will start to search for a mate. Mating usually takes place between January and August and can last for several hours. When the male finds a receptive female, he will approach her and start to nuzzle her neck and head. The female will either accept or reject the male's advances. If she accepts him, she will stretch her head and neck out to make it easier for the male to mount her. The male will then climb onto the female's back, using his front legs to hold onto her shell. Seahorses mating. Seahorses have one of the most unique reproductive systems in the animal kingdom. The male seahorse is the one who carries and gives birth to the offspring. Yes, you heard that right. The female deposits the eggs into a pouch on the male's abdomen, where they are fertilized and develop into baby seahorses. The male carries the developing embryos for several weeks before going into labor and giving birth to hundreds, sometimes even thousands of tiny seahorses. During the actual mating process, the seahorses intertwine their tails and perform a sort of dance to transfer the eggs from the female to the male's pouch. It's a delicate process that requires precision and coordination, as the eggs must be carefully positioned within the pouch to ensure proper fertilization and development. All in all, the seahorse's reproductive system and mating behaviors are truly unique and fascinating. Jacanas mating. Jacanas are a type of bird found in wetlands and swamps in tropical regions. During mating season, male jacanas perform an elaborate courtship display to attract a female. Once a male has found a mate, he builds a floating nest in the water, where the female will lay her eggs. After the eggs are laid, the male takes over most of the responsibility for incubating and caring for the young. In fact, male jacanas are known for their exceptional parenting skills, as they will aggressively defend their chicks from predators and other males. This is quite unusual in the bird world, where it is typically the female that takes on most of the parenting duties. This is unusual in the bird world, as most bird species are monogamous, meaning they mate with one partner for life. The mating and parenting behaviors of jacanas are truly unique and fascinating to observe. Kangaroo Mating. Male kangaroos often fight for the right to mate with a female kangaroo. These fights can be brutal, with the males boxing each other with their powerful hind legs and occasionally biting each other with their sharp teeth. The fights are usually only a few minutes long and typically end when one of the males retreats. The male with the strongest odor usually wins the fight and has a greater chance of attracting a mate. The winner then proceeds to mate with the female. Once a male has successfully mated, he will move on to find another mate. The female kangaroo will typically give birth to one joey per year. Interestingly, female kangaroos can delay the development of a fertilized egg for several months until conditions are optimal for birth. This allows them to time the birth of their young to coincide with favorable, abundant food and water. Hippo Mating. Hippos have a unique mating behavior where the males will use their massive jaws to display aggression towards each other. They will open their mouths wide and make loud snapping sounds to intimidate their rivals. Once the dominant male has established his position, he will engage in a series of courtship behaviors with the female. These behaviors may include blowing bubbles, vocalizing, and touching noses. The male will also mount the female in the water, with both hippos submerging their bodies while mating. Interestingly, hippos are also known for their ability to hold their breath for up to 6 minutes while they are underwater, which is an important adaptation for their mating and aquatic lifestyle. Despite their aggressive behavior towards each other during mating season, hippos typically live in social groups of up to 30 individuals and have been known to display cooperative behavior in caring for young calves. Koala Mating. Koalas may seem cute and cuddly, but their mating behavior is anything but romantic. Female koalas have a tough time during mating season, as they are often pursued relentlessly by male koalas. These males will follow the females around and emit a loud, bellowing call to let other males know that the female is taken. But the competition doesn't stop there. Male koalas will also engage in fierce battles with each other, using their sharp claws and teeth to defend their territory and mating rights. Once a male koala wins the right to mate with a female, the actual mating process is brief and uneventful. It lasts only a few seconds and is usually initiated by the female. Interestingly, koalas have a bifurcated reproductive system, meaning that females have 2 separate uteri and 2 vaginas. This allows them to produce 2 different types of milk for their young, one high in protein and the other high in fat. Prairie Dog Mating. During the mating season, male prairie dogs will compete for the attention of females by performing a series of elaborate displays, such as jumping and chasing. Once a female chooses a mate, they will engage in a brief courtship ritual before copulation occurs. Interestingly, female prairie dogs are known to be quite promiscuous and will often mate with multiple males during the breeding season. This behavior is thought to increase genetic diversity and improve the chances of offspring survival. Prairie dogs live in social groups called coteries or clans. These groups contain 1 or 2 dominant males, a number of yearling males, and a majority of females. All of these members are related except for the dominant male, who would have been born in another territory and dispersed. They are known for their adorable appearance and distinctive vocalizations. Sloth Mating. Sloths, known for their slow-moving and sleepy demeanor, have unique and interesting mating behavior. They are solitary animals, and their mating habits are no exception. They only come together for a brief period during the breeding season, which occurs once a year. During the mating season, the male will emit a loud mating call to attract a female. Once the female is ready to mate, the pair will climb down from the trees and engage in a slow and gentle mating process that can last for several hours. Unlike most other animals, sloths mate while hanging upside down from a branch. The male will use his long arms to grasp onto the female while mating. After mating, the male sloth will go back to his solitary lifestyle, and the female will carry the offspring for about 6 months before giving birth to a single baby. Lemurs mating. Lemurs are primates endemic to Madagascar and have a unique and interesting mating system. Most lemur species are seasonal breeders, with a specific breeding season that occurs once per year. During this breeding season, males will compete for access to females, often engaging in fierce battles to establish dominance. Once a male has established dominance, he will mate with multiple females within his group. Interestingly, some lemur species also practice a behavior called mate guarding, in which males closely follow the female after mating to prevent other males from mating with her. This behavior can be especially important for females that are highly desired by other males. During the breeding season, female lemurs emit a scent from their genital area, which alerts males to their readiness to mate. This scent can be detected by males from long distances, allowing them to locate females that are receptive to mating. Fossa Mating. The fossa has a unique mating system that is different from many other mammals. Rather than the males competing for the attention of females, and females are the ones in charge, they will choose a mate and initiate the mating process. When a female is in heat, she will release a strong scent to attract males. Several males will come to her location and begin to compete for her attention. The female will then choose a mate based on his size, strength, and the quality of his scent. Interestingly, female fossas have a pseudopenis, like hyenas, which is used during mating to help grip onto the male. This makes the mating process more successful and ensures that the male will not escape before the copulation is complete. Fossa mating is a unique and interesting process, where the females are the ones in charge and have a special adaptation to make sure the mating is successful. Panda Mating. Giant pandas have a unique mating system that involves females being in estrus for only 24 to 72 hours per year. During this time, males will compete for the opportunity to mate with females. Mating can be a tricky process, as pandas are solitary animals that do not often come into contact with each other in the wild. Therefore, breeding programs in captivity have been crucial for the survival of the species. Once a male panda is able to successfully mate with a female, the pregnancy lasts for around 3 to 5 months. Pandas give birth to 1 or 2 cubs, but it is rare for both to survive. Female pandas are known for their excellent mothering skills, but in the wild, mothers will often only raise 1 cub at a time. Despite their popularity and iconic status, giant pandas are considered a vulnerable species due to habitat loss and low reproductive rates. Capybara Mating. Often found relaxing on the beach alongside caimans or even hitching a ride on the back of an alligator, it seems like capybaras are friends with just about every animal they encounter. When it comes to mating, capybaras have a unique system in which females establish dominance over males. During the breeding season, females will fight amongst themselves to determine which one will mate with the dominant male. The dominant female will then mate with the dominant male, and other females may also mate with him if they get the chance. Interestingly, capybaras also engage in communal nursing, which means that mothers will allow other females to nurse their young alongside their own offspring. This behavior helps to ensure the survival of their young and reinforces the social bonds between the animals in the group. Their babies are born fully developed and are able to walk and swim within hours of being born. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing content. Let us know in the comments what you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.